Hello everyone, and welcome to round 7 of the 2025 Super Formula One World Championship for the Alsace Grand Prix. We are back in the villages of Alsace for 38 laps around this 3.3 mile, 17 turn tarmac rally track, which is known as one of the most unique tracks on the calendar for its variable elevation changes and undulating nature. Let's see what the 2025 running has in store for us and take a look at the starting grid.
Oliver Bearman starts on the back row alongside Gabriele Bortoleto in P19, behind Franco Colapinto making his 2025 debut next to Lance Stroll. Former teammates Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda start 16th and 15th, and then Nico Hülkenberg 14th and Carlos Sainz 13th ahead. Kimi Antonelli starts 12th alongside Alexander Albon in 11th. And into the points Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar line up 10th and 9th. The user driver Esteban Ocon starts P8 alongside George Russell in 7th, then Fernando Alonso in P6 next to Charles Leclerc in 5th. Max Verstappen starts on the second row alongside Lewis Hamilton in 3rd, and McLaren takes the first front row lockout of the season with Norris P2 and Oscar Piastri on pole position.
We are underway from Alsace in a bit of a different camera angle here, but Piastri looks to have gotten away well with the rest of the field down to turn 1. Uphill hairpin as Oscar Piastri goes a bit too deep to start the race and open up the inside for Lando Norris, who was going to lead the race coming out of turn 1. It took him no time to get ahead as they head down to 2 and 3. Verstappen and Leclerc side by side. Fernando Alonso is there as well as down into turn 3 they go, and Leclerc seems to hold on for that one, but Russell goes around the outside on the Red Bull, and we'll have P5, Alonso and Hadjar side by side behind. Hadjar is ahead, and Russell has already made up 2 places, but Verstappen has lost 2. And it's under pressure from Hadjar and Ocon behind as they head towards the exhilarating turn 8. Up front, Lando Norris overtaking his teammate and taking the lead of this Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc has to defend from George Russell, and Russell will have to defend from Verstappen. They are nose to tail heading into turn 3, and Verstappen round the outside of Russell and Leclerc both. Leclerc shuts the door, but Verstappen with the move around the outside and getting back into the top 5. But now his defense from Russell starts. And keeping him at bay is the Red Bull. And Verstappen is gaining all the time coming out of turn 8 on Charles Leclerc. He's going to have a run at this down in turn 11, but Russell sticks it up the inside. May have banged wheels with Verstappen as well as Verstappen holds station, but Russell remains on his side and up into the hill into 12. Russell will take that place back now. He's going to have a go at Charles Leclerc now. Leclerc being told to box this lap. Russell down the inside. Gets the move done and puts a brief buffer in between himself and Verstappen as Leclerc dives in. Russell and Verstappen stay out another lap. Lawson has not pitted yet, so he will be next as Ocon round turn 8 and swoops around the outside. That is such a fun corner as he's already rolling up on Tsunoda and Antonelli coming down into 11. Takes a very wide line on entry, but stays alongside Antonelli, and up the hill he is ahead and back up into 8th after his stop. Norris making his stop on this lap, so the McLarens will be racing each other out of the pits here as Piastri's already made a stop. Not a ton of time lost in this short pit lane, but there's Norris coming out now, and Oscar Piastri regains the lead of the race from his teammate Norris. However, Norris will have the fresher tire advantage. Sainz trying around the outside around Hadjar. However, Hadjar stays ahead. Now up the hill. And Verstappen now around the outside of Russell up to turn 12. Now he'll have a run as Sainz, they are side by side heading down into the final complex. And Verstappen will have the inside. Then he'll have the outside, but it doesn't affect him. He's back up into 6th. trying to recover positions. Sainz on the back foot down the straight now. George Russell struggling for pace now as Esteban Ocon will have a go at the Mercedes down the inside, and the Haas. Ocon trying to score Haas's first points of the season here in race number 7, currently in 7th place. Ocon is in for some serious first points here as Hadjar and Russell go side by side. Hadjar goes through on Ocon, and Russell and Ocon, big contact there. It looked like one just rammed into the other. Not at all sure what's going on between those two. And now Russell will have Sainz on his back. So here's a look at Russell's onboard. He goes around the outside of Sainz here and nearly gets around Hadjar. Ocon with a slow exit, and then Russell just weaves across the track and hits Ocon. I'm almost certain there was damage sustained by both drivers. Norris will be making his last stop at the end of this lap, say McLaren, but Piastri's already taken his last stop and has caught back up to the back of Norris before he's even made his stop. So Piastri, with 8 laps to go, will lead this race once again, trying to convert from pole. Ocon gaining and strikes down the inside of Tsunoda. He was too far back, and they'll have to wait for that one as he is right on the rear of the Red Bull heading down to turn 7. Goes to the inside and gets the move done here. He's trying to pick a defensive line on the exit. Esteban Ocon started in 8th, trying to get back into 8th. A switch back to the inside on Stroll around turn 8. Whoa, what an overtake around that corner at those speeds. Lando Norris has one more traffic car ahead of him before he'll have a clear track between himself and his teammate up the road. That car is Pierre Gasly, and Gasly moves aside, and so Norris will have 4 remaining laps to go full push to the end of the race. But Piastri is just entering turn 3 about 10 seconds ahead. Tense moments on the McLaren pit wall towards the end here. Ocon is catching Hülkenberg now for 7th place. Will have the move done, but Hülkenberg still running great today. Both scoreless teams on their way to their first points of the season. Lando Norris is rapidly catching Piastri here. He has vaporized that 10-second lead. He was over 3 seconds quicker on lap 35 and over 4 seconds quicker on the last lap. And he will have a lap and a half to close the rest of this gap, and it is happening fast. Piastri struggling. His tires are about 6 laps older than Norris, and while he's had track position, Norris has been flying in this final stint, and that gap is very, very quickly decreasing. As into turn 11, Norris right up on the rear of Piastri, and Piastri is under immense pressure, but he's holding on. And holding on for dear life as up and then down the hill they'll come. Norris will have a brief slipstream down into 15. But he won't go for the move here, but the move is 100% on heading into this final lap. Oscar Piastri leads in McLaren 1-2, but Lando Norris is banging on the door. He's moving alongside, down the straight and heading into turn 1. He's got the inside, he's got the lead. Lando Norris leads this race on the final lap just out of turn 1, nearly identical to lap 1 as the pole sitter has just run out of grip in these late stages. He may not have another chance at the lead. It has been total domination from McLaren. They've led by as many as 30 seconds from 3rd place. They've been on separate strategies, but it is Lando Norris with a final lap move to the lead. A championship level drive for the championship leader. Lando Norris wins the Alsace Grand Prix for the 2nd year in a row. Oscar Piastri comes home to take 2nd to complete the McLaren 1-2. And Lewis Hamilton, who's next across the line, will take his third straight podium for Ferrari. Carlos Sainz with Williams' best result in 4th. What a race we've had today. George Russell had a very frustrating race today. He started in 7th, he was involved in damage, and it kind of boils over here on the final lap going down into the final complex. It just runs into the back of Stroll. Stroll then drifts wide, and Russell goes through the 9th place. But that is not necessarily a clean overtake at all, and the stewards will take a note of that after the race. So, Lando Norris wins his 2nd consecutive Alsace Grand Prix in front of his teammate Oscar Piastri, making McLaren the first team to convert a front row lockout into a 1-2 finish since Ferrari did it in the 3rd race in SF1 history in 2022. Lewis Hamilton is once again on the podium in 3rd for the 3rd time in a row, in front of Carlos Sainz in 4th and Max Verstappen, rounding out the top 5 with the fastest lap. Charles Leclerc fell to 6th, Esteban Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg both scoring their first points this season, and then the stewards rewarded Lance Stroll with 9th after George Russell's final lap overtake Russell in 10th. Outside of the points, Kimi Antonelli finishes outside of the points for just the first time in his career, and Franco Colapinto finishes dead last in his 2025 debut. Lando Norris' championship lead extends to 29 points ahead of Max Verstappen, and Piastri draws closer in 3rd, now 9 points off the Red Bull. Lewis Hamilton has now tied George Russell in points for 4th place, and further down, Ocon and Hülkenberg jump to 14th and 15th. McLaren extend their constructors' lead to 57, and Ferrari is 4 points off Mercedes. As we continue to mention, Haas and Sauber are finally both on the board after 7. So that'll do it from Alsace. Norris with back-to-back wins, leading McLaren 1-2. We'll travel to Spain next week for the Barcelona Grand Prix. Until then, thanks for joining us on Project SF1.